So today's video is a little bit different than what you normally see on my channel. This is actually a video that Blake and I filmed over the winter, and I just never ended up putting it on the channel. I saw it on here, thought, well, hey, I'll do kind of a voiceover, talk about this project, and we'll put this video up. So let's give a little backstory on this waterfall. The customer, is actually my old neighbors from when I was a kid, so they're like second parents to me. Uh, they had a contractor come in and build this waterfall when they first moved here. The contractor just really didn't do a good job, and it leaked from day one. He kept coming back trying to fix it. Eventually, he wouldn't answer his phone, quit coming back. So they then hired another contractor who came in, charged them $4,000. He took some rocks out of their landscape and took some mortar and stuck that in there. Disappeared. Waterfall still leaked. They still had trouble with it for probably about a year or so. Then they saw a post on Facebook that was a waterfall that Blake and I had done, and they just reached out. I hadn't talked to them in years, but they reached out and said, hey, could y'all come look at this and see what's going on and tell us, can it be fixed? Does it just need to be torn out and a brand new waterfall put in? So Blake and I went over there and checked it out, and immediately we knew that we would not be able to fix that waterfall, that it needed to be torn out and just completely redone. So we gave them a price. They were willing to pay that. And I told Blake, hey, these people took care of me as a kid. I want to take care of them now. So let's go a little bit above and beyond, if you don't mind, and let's give them something really, really nice. So we got there this day and we started tearing it out. And you can see over here on the left of the screen, we kind of sorted all the rocks to different sizes because we knew we were going to reuse some of them, but we also brought some other boulders with us to add into the landscape to just give it a different look than the way they had it. So we're kind of creating a bigger pond area. We're reusing all the blocks that were there to kind of give the tiers of the waterfall. And right now we're just putting in some chat to get everything kind of smooth and actually building it the proper way. You can see that hole on the left. That's where the pump is going to be. We're figuring out like the spillway now and the plumbing. Just kind of getting a gauge of how we want everything to be set up in the waterfall. So part of the process of doing this is kind of trial and error a little bit. You just kind of have to figure things out. I'm noticing I forgot to edit out spots where the camera's getting moved. I did not realize that was still in there. It's just things I missed on the back end. But like I was saying, we're just trying to get just trial and error. You just kind of put a few rocks in there, trying to figure out, which way it's going to spill and which way the direction of the water you want to go. So it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. So like you saw, we had a whole bunch of guys right at the beginning, and then as that time went on, we switched that to just like 3 of us, because we knew we were going to be kind of working in tight quarters and we didn't need a whole bunch of people there. So we brought in the manpower to really dig it out, carry all the rocks out, and then send everybody else, all the rest of Blake's crew, off to do other jobs while we stayed, just a couple of us. I'm actually off camera kind of sorting rocks and bringing them over to Blake, and then I'm just going to jump in there and start helping out. I'm doing the plumbing here. We're trying to get it all figured out. You can see Blake just keeps cleaning everything off because we're walking. That rubber that we're actually walking on is the rubber that, keeps the waterfall from leaking. So we're being really careful to keep it clean as we go, and we have to walk in and out of it. We're tracking dirt in there, and we just have to keep that all cleaned out so we don't puncture a hole into the liner for the waterfall. This kind of work it just takes time. I mean, it's an art form. Blake's been doing this for years. I've only been building waterfalls for a couple years now, and I have not built very many like this that are actual boulders and rocks. So this was an experience for me, a lot of learning going on for me. So I'm just kind of watching Blake and seeing, asking him questions, trying to figure out what's the best way. Why are you putting that rock there? What makes you decide to do this or do that? So definitely digging into his brain, because this guy has been doing this for like 11, 12, 13, 14 years, something like that. So he just knows his stuff. He knows how to, create it to make it look as natural as possible. And that was one of the things we wanted to do, is to try to give it that natural feel. She wanted a lot of noise. She likes a lot of sound coming from her waterfall. So we were just kind of figuring out how could we give it drops and make that work. Um, Here we dug a hole. It was hard. That dirt was solid. We actually ended up hitting a big boulder as we were digging down. Our plan was to put a whole aqua block in there where the pump goes. You saw that little piece of plastic grate that we put over it. That's actually the top of an aqua block. I just took the aqua block apart and just used the top right there. And then we had that hole right there. So that's kind of how we did the pump area, had that aqua block over it. So that pond will fill up with water. It fills up that reservoir where the pump is, and then the pump's able to pump it up to the top of the waterfall to what's called the spillway, where you see that pair of pliers that's sitting on top of the spillway. So again, just a lot of trial and error, trying to figure out, what looks good. So we kind of place a couple rocks. You'll see a step back. We kind of look, and then we come in. We might move some stuff, and then go back, look at it some more. It is definitely a process. Uh, the day wasn't too terribly hot that we were out there, but it's just time consuming. You're lifting a lot of weight with all the rocks and boulders. And I think at this point we were down to just Blake and I. I don't think we had anyone else there. The guys were working pretty much just right around the corner. So here in a little bit, we end up bringing them back in to help us kind of finish up. So it was definitely nice just to have them right there around the corner. That way we were able to just give them a call, have them come back over here, help us get the last few things completed, help with the cleanup, and be able to move on to the next job. As you can see, we're already filling this thing with water. We're already seeing some leaks, so we're figuring out the leaks, and we got it running. So the water's so muddy because all the rocks and stuff had dirt all over them. So it does take time for all that to settle. You can rotate the water a few times, and that will help, so we can pump it out and then put new water in, and that'll make that water clear up. But just running it over time, all that dirt will settle down, and it'll go clear. So it's kind of cool to see. We tested it, we saw some problems, we shut it off, and now we're back in there changing the little things that we felt like needed to be changed that we saw while it was running. One of the big things about this, those plastic spillways, just trying to hide those things. So you can really see that spillway at this angle. We did come up with a few rocks that we liked that would go over it. Blake ended up coming back a few days later because we didn't have any glue with us, and he actually glued those rocks onto the face of the spillway so it hid that black piece of plastic on the spillway. A lot of times, like I keep saying, it's trial and error. We actually had to come back because the waterfall was leaking, and we thought we found the leak, and she called us and said, hey, it slowed it down, but it's still leaking. We ended up coming back like 3 or 4 times to find this leak that was just like impossible. We came in and they have like a spray foam that you can put in, and it's a waterfall spray foam that seals areas. We came in and did a whole bunch of that, trying to solve the problem. Eventually, Blake and I came back one day. She had just let it run dry. Um, I just started digging around, and over there on that right side where that light is, uh, the liner actually got folded. And whenever it got folded, it created like a tunnel for the water to run down, so that water was just running right out. And after we got that fixed, we just kind of took some of the rocks back, made sure that fold was out of there, and we were able to get this thing fixed. So this is the final project. And whenever it was finished, like I said, it'll clear up after a few days. She absolutely loved it. The lighting that we put around it, the extra little beds, it really turned out nice, and she was ecstatic about it, which was exciting to me just to know that she was excited about her new waterfall. So it started as this, which is an ugly waterfall, and we turned it into that. So I know this was something a little bit different than normal, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this kind of commentary podcast kind of feel, let me know in the comments. And Blake and I have been talking about doing more of these types of videos. But just let us know what you think, and hopefully you like it because we enjoy doing this.